Hey guys, welcome to some shit. Alright, so I'm fucking ranking. I'm ranking shit because I'm very late to this ranking thing. But like, I just felt like doing it because I have no idea. I'm bored. I don't care. I decided, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna rank what I think. So I was like, fuck it. I'm just rank Beatles albums, worst to best. You know, because like. There's apparently they didn't make that many albums, but I could have chose more albums because I decided to just go with the UK releases instead of everything like including the American release. Because I was like, nah, fuck it, that's too much, and most of them already have the same songs. I'm gonna start all the way from their first to their last album. Now, Please Me. It's the first album they ever came out with. I feel like it was a great starter album, mostly because even though it was just unpredictable. It was like, you know what, fuck it, let's just have fun. It was more fun. Let's have fun, bitch. Let's have fun. They had some bops on here, like I forgot. I'm not gonna lie, Twist and Shout. I thought the album overall was pretty fun and enjoyable for what it was. But as in Beatles terms, for Beatles standards, I'm not sure. I don't know. Compared to these fucking giants over here, I'm not sure. I would say, shit. I say C. It won't be long, yeah. Their second album. Wait, which one's their second? Yep, this one's the second album with the Beatles. This shit bops hard. I wanna be your man. But like seriously, with the Beatles, it was pretty much like Please Me Part 2. And I'm not sure where to put this, but I think it's better than Please Me. Even though it didn't have as many hits as Please Me, like for example, it has many hits like Please Me, Love Me Do, Twist and Shout. From Me to You, fuck. Like these are the three, the albums that really built up Beatlemania. We'll get to that later, so I think they were still experimenting and still covering songs from other artists from like the 50s. And I think they pulled them off way better than the original. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. You know what, I think B is good for this. I think B. I'm feeling good B on that. I'm not gonna lie, that shit was fire. And buy me love. The album that set it off. A Hard Day's Night. I have this on vinyl. And goddamn, this album kickstarted everything. This kickstarted Beatlemania to the fullest. I mean the fullest. Like, you can't talk about Beatlemania without referencing this album, because this is what started Beatlemania.
I don't care what anybody thinks. I love the Beatles for them, and I'll always love them. Even when I'm 105 and an old grandmother, I'll love them.
Everyone went crazy for this album. I mean, like, who wouldn't? This shit had fucking... It was just a fun-ass album. Like, they really, like, reinforced pop. Like 60s pop with this fucking album and how it was supposed to sound like for example, like I can't even remember. Tell Me Why was really good. A Hard Day's Night, the title track, and then fuck, what was that? And I Love Her. There's so many favorites on this album. I want to say this is my favorite album, but I wouldn't say that yet. This album just slaps so hard. Like, I feel like it's a really good pop album for what it is. It's amazing. I would say A, to be honest. I'm gonna say A. This album, I'm like, how can you go wrong with Tell Me Why, A Hard Day's Night, Tell Me Why, Should Have Known Better, And I Love Her, Happy Just to Dance with You, If I Fell. Like, the album had it all, and it really sounded different from these two. Even though it's still that pop sound that the pop flavor that they kept kicking in with, what they came with. but they put in like a different style every new song. Mr. Moonlight. Same year, this also came out 64, like these two, in 63. This one came out in 64. Beatles For Sale. I'd say this album was, if my opinion, I say this album's underrated as hell. Like, and the reason why is because, like, you know, a lot of people like to put down this album and not mention it whenever they talk about the Beatles, the straight up, like, even talk about the Beatles. And if they, which I fucking despise, because this album has gems on here. Like, this album has some hidden gems in here that people don't, that just go unappreciated. And, like, No Reply, Mr. Moonlight I like on there. It was even though it wasn't their song, I feel like they covered that song really good. And it was like, I forgot who wrote that song, but, you know. And, what was another? Oh yeah, 8 Days a Week. Like, you can't go wrong with that song. Apparently, not a lot of people like this album because it wasn't like a Hard Day's Night. Because people just don't straight up just don't mention this album because it's not pop. You know, they were experiencing something else, which I feel like they did too early in order to go like with these. If they wanted to experiment like outside of pop like these three, they were going real folk on this, and like folk pop, I don't know, it was, yeah, I'd say it was kind of confusing, but I say it's a B. Like, people did this album wrong. Help! I need somebody help! Alright, moving on to 1965. I think this one came, yeah. Goddamn, I don't even know what to say about Help. This came out in 65, and I feel like this... Fuck, I don't know. Shit. I feel... Shit. Goddamn. I think this goes in motherfucking B. But I wouldn't say that yet. Mostly because fucking, you know, Help. They went back to their pop roots with, you know, like these three. It sounded more like A Hard Day's Night too, in some cases, but also sounded like Beatles For Sale. It sounded like these two pretty much, because they still didn't leave the folk sound, because they didn't want to leave that alone, because I feel like they could do it right, which they didn't do correctly in this album. They were still experimenting on that album, which they stopped experimenting on this album. They just went back to their Hard Day's Night roots and just went more pop, you know. I mean, Help, Act Naturally. I mean, Ringo's singing on that. I mean, yeah, Ringo's singing on that. These are like, I think these albums are where Ringo is singing with the Beatles and Help. Ringo should have sung more on these albums, especially the earlier albums, because he has such a good voice. Even though he's their drummer, but like, I say B. Rubber Soul, goddamn, fucking amazing, in my opinion. Like, this album, I feel like, you know, I'm not even gonna spoil or whatever. I'm not gonna spoil. This album is so fucking great. Like almost every song is including. I'm gonna give an actual review on Rubber Soul. Rubber Soul, that's my goddamn favorite motherfucking Beatles album. Like, out of all of them in the discography, like, that one tops it all. I mean, it has it all. Like, hell, catchiness, trippiness. This is when they were starting to stray away from the goddamn Beatlemania, ooh, lovey-dovey poppy shit. We're moving on to experimental, manly shit. Well, not really manly, but you know, they strayed away from the old ass pop sound they kept during the fucking Help album. You can see how much progression they made. Now compare Help to Rubber Soul, because that shit came out in the same year. It was 1965, because you'll know what the differences are. Like, the Beatles went completely folk on them. George started using the sitar, I think that's what it's called. They started really getting experimental with the drugs they were starting to get on, which we get on to later. And there's so many shit, so much shit I like on there. It's such a damn vibe. And I just love the studio aesthetic and the sounds they were making, that were made for this album. I just love the studio aesthetic that they had on this. It was just like a whole album was creating with when everyone came up with ideas, except for Ringo, because he never got to perform a song they wrote, because John and Paul will never let him, because it was always like too goofy. Except for Octopus's Garden. But yeah, I mean, like, Nowhere Man, the fucking harmony in that bitch, the harmony on Nowhere Man is just pure bliss. That's all. That enough said. What goes on? Well, actually, you know what? Never mind. Never mind about Ringo. Ringo actually sung on What Goes On, but he didn't write it. What goes on in your heart? That song was written by John in like '63, which just came out in '65. Girl is definitely my favorite fucking song in there. It's just, ugh. Damn. That's definitely my favorite song on there. It's definitely like my favorite Beatles song of all time. You was talking about a girl he would be searching for, and eventually it would be Yoko Ono. Yay. Psh. In my life, that's just, yes. Michelle by Paul. Oh my god, Paul went off. He especially went off with the fucking French. Bro, Paul went off with the French. Oh my god, yes. That French makes me a wet. I mean, what? No. Never mind. I'm looking through you. That shit was messy as fuck, but I liked it. I think I liked the messiness of it, though. It was really messy. Like, if you actually hear the track, you hear a whole bunch of random ass shit going on in that bitch. Like, you won't even know what was going on. Like, you hear someone drop a tambourine in the middle of that shit. You literally hear someone drop a tambourine in the middle of the fucking recording. And they kept that in the song. But hey, it was still good. And I think that was what made it good. The messiness. So yeah, that shit was fire. Like, that's definitely an A for me. I don't give a no, that's S. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Never mind. That's A, actually. I'm gonna just be real and just not be biased. I'm gonna put that A. That's an A. And on to Revolver. Let me tell you. And on to Revolver and Saint fucking Charles. This shit took a whole ass turn for the Beatles. The Beatles' music. The Beatles' career, nigga. Like, what? Like, no one knew what was going on when they came out with this. This came out during the whole fucking when John fucking blurted out fucking, we're more popular than Jesus shit controversy. Them American niggas got triggered by that shit. And even got the KKK involved. They almost got killed like how many times when they were on tour when he said that, after he said that? Oh my god. But anyway, they really went experimental on this. Back to the album. They really went experimental on this fucking album. They went full off with the ideas. Everyone came up with ideas. Everyone. Like, they were completely free to do whatever the fuck they want in the studio. As long as they got George Martin with them and everyone else. They just create a whole bunch of sounds that normally you don't hear on a Beatles record. They created new shit. They really, like, Taxman, that was George. That was George's song, and I'm only sleeping here, there, and everywhere. Makes me go to sleep. Apparently that track was inspired by God Only Knows by the Beach Boys. Or not the Beach Boys, Brian Wilson, as he did all the fucking work in the Beach Boys. Fucking Mike Love's bitch ass. Seriously, I'm gonna say right now, everyone knows that Mike Love's a bitch. I'm gonna say that right now. Like, come on now. Good Day Sunshine, which is an unpopular track. Well, not Good Day Sunshine, which is Not much love track, but I still love it. I love it to death. All right. But Beatles fans do not love it. They fucking named that as like the least favorite, or least good. For No One, shit. I don't even want to get into all that. We already know. The artwork makes me nut. All right, that's it. Enough about the artwork. And it just sounded like drugs. Well, not really. It was just this huge ass build up. I just knew I knew it was gonna be this huge build up to like Sgt. Pepper, but I also didn't know. I also didn't know at the same time. I say this is probably their best album if we're being real. Until we get to Sgt. Pepper, then we'll probably know. Shit, I don't know. It's still a huge debate now whether it's better than whether Sgt. Pepper is better than Revolver, but I'll get to that in a bit. So I'll put that at a fucking S, because come on now, it's fucking Revolver by the Beatles. Listen to it. You won't be sorry. And by the way, this is when the group really got interested in the motherfucking LSD and shit and everything and the weed. So that really took a toll on the album. And yeah, that's a damn S for me. Fuck with me. Fight me. That's their best record. I don't give a fuck what you say. That's their best shit. I don't want to hear nothing from you.
Tonight, Mr. Kite is topping the bill.
Sgt. Pepper, goddamn. It felt like a goddamn drug trip. Even if you never took drugs, it felt like what it would be like if you took drugs. Like, just listen to that shit. A Day in the Life. I don't even know if that's on the album. But yeah, A Day in the Life. Shit. Oh, wait, I forgot an album. Shit. I just noticed I forgot an album. Alright, I added one more album because I feel like that was missing. Anyway, back to Sgt. Pepper. So, Sgt. Pepper was really fucking instrumental. This is the first time they went full psychedelic. And I feel like they left that off on Revolver with the psychedelicness, but goddamn. This shit was heavy. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Fuck it, my mind went blank. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Benefit of Mr. Kite. Dr. Kite, what was it? I think that was called. A Day in the Life. The title track. The reprise of the title track. Shit. And they went full tilt. Like, this is like I don't even know what to say. It was definitely unlike, this is how a band evolves from making straight up nothing but pop. These albums, full on pop to something like this, which is a goddamn art in music form. Literal art. I'm like, how can you not put this in S tier? That's a goddamn S. And then Magical Mystery Tour, which is kind of something left off of this, which is really fucking weird. We all live in a yellow submarine. This album was fucking weird. I had no idea what they were doing in this album. Like, seriously, I have no idea what this was about. And I didn't even want to know what this was about. But goddamn. This shit was weird. I am the Eggman. I am the Walrus. I don't even know. I have nothing to say about this album, but other than it was confusing and off. Something fell off. It sounded off. Like, the songs just fell off. The track list was weird. But other than Hello Goodbye, which is a damn masterpiece. Hello Goodbye. That was like one of the biggest highlights of that album. Magical Mr. I don't even know. I say this fucking C. Like, this shit was weird. I don't even want to talk about it. The White Album. They fully ditched their psychedelic sound. which I feel like they only did twice. They should have done it more, because I wanted to hear more of that amazing psychedelicness, since they know how to do it so well. Other than the Rolling Stones, fucking Satanic Majesty's Request. Damn, that shit was awful. And you even realize that that cover, the cover of that album, literally is ripped off of Sgt. Pepper. The Rolling Stones fucking ripped off Sgt. Pepper. Like, what the fuck? Get off their dick. But anyway, back to the White Album. Like, goddamn. The White Album, they went back to, you know, this is a goddamn double album. I had to listen to this for a whole fucking 2 hours. Which I don't even think that was how long the album was, but I listened to it for 2 hours. Which, yeah, it's probably I think this is their longest album. They had a lot of songs in here. Dear Prudence, I say, was good on there. Obla Di Obla Da, I was like, alright, I can fuck with it. But then, you know, Helter Skelter, yes. Helter Skelter, I say, was one of the best tracks on that album, and that really makes me want to go back to it right now. Also, Happiness is a Warm Gun is like the best track on the whole album. Don't at me. I might have to give it a re-listen, but nah, we're in the middle of a video, fuck it. I say fucking A. But nah, I ain't finished talking about it. They fully ditched their psychedelic sound, you know. They went back to, you know, some folk. They went back to more pop, rock. I don't know why. This album sounded experimental, but it wasn't. A. Nah, never mind. B.
Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. I say.
And here we go. Abbey motherfucking Road. Abbey Road. If you don't like Abbey Road, I don't like you as a person. Cause this album, shit. This is a great way. This is their last album they ever recorded. Let It Be is not even their last album. I would even recall this as their last album. I wouldn't call this their last album at all. I would say Abbey Road is the real end of the Beatles saga. Because goddamn, Here Comes the Sun, bitch. Come Together. Right when I thought George couldn't get any better, he comes out here with Here Comes the Sun. That goddamn, that awakened something in me. Besides, you know, this is the real end of the Beatles saga. I mean, like, for fuck's sake, their last track on the album was literally called The End. Like, this is when they were really fed up with each other. This is when they were really fed up with each other when recording with each other, like the White Album. It was when they were really, like, distancing themselves away from each other. Like, all four of them. Like, fucking when John introduced Yoko. Oh, no. Even though I wouldn't recall the real reason why they broke up. Anyway, back to Abbey Road. Fucking, yes. Goddamn S tier. Fucking, are you kidding me? Like, and in my opinion, there's so many tracks in here that I felt should have been longer. Way longer than what they actually were. Like fucking Golden Slumbers. The End. Like for their last song to ever be recorded together, called The End. Obviously that should have been much longer.
Actually I'm wrong again. It's actually I Want You, She's So Heavy. That's the last song they ever recorded together as 4. God, I'm stupid. Also, I didn't know until a couple weeks ago there was actually part of a melody where the 3 very shortest tracks on the album which is The End, Golden Slumbers, and Carry Out Weight. It was all part of one big melody. It was all in one. It was just this one big song. That's why it's so short.
Golden Slumbers, in my opinion, is the best. Like, I'd say that was the 3rd best track on there. Another song's like Because, you know, that, which I heard they like. I wonder why they sounded, and I wonder why the harmony sounded. And I wonder why the harmony sounded so good. But apparently they triple tracked all three of them triple tracked their vocals. I said Ringo, of course. and made it sound like it was a lot more people in the room. It sounded way more full of a harmony than what it actually was, which made it even more forgiving. And the melody, the melodies they chose, gotta thank John. And the goddamn bass line, for I Want You, She's So Heavy, come on, listen to that right now. Bitch. S. That's all I'm saying. Their best. That album cannot be forgotten in history.
Speaking words of wisdom, let it be.
This, Let It Be. Fuck no. We ain't going there. This is supposedly their end album. Their last album. But I won't even call this their last album because it's not even the last album they recorded. This is their last album they ever recorded. And there's so much stuff that was off about this album. This doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like the Beatles. Like Dig a Pony. Ew.
I like Dig a Pony now, I just had to re-listen to it.
One After 99. That was a track I liked though. But I would say D. I would say D. It was just confusing and off. And it's not. No. So that was apparently it. The Beatles has a really nice discography. And I really hope you check out every single one of their albums. That's it, Fuck it.